Rule 1 on bicep day is really simple. Don't go for these ones, go for these ones. Mind to muscle is everything. Leave the ego there, the door. I'll always start roughly around 10 kilos. You want to start with a weight that is going to be something you're easily able to connect to, something that's easily going to activate the muscle, but also activate your technique. Hammer curls, we all know them, we all love them, but are you doing them right? One of the best tips for hammer curls is not to hold the dumbbell here, but to hold it here. The reason being, we're coming down to a neutral grip. This position here, it's a rest position. This is a natural position for the arm to sit. So to stop that happening, to keep tension on the muscle, what we want to do, grip the weight to the top and then let it sit at a nice angle at the bottom. And immediately you're going to feel from here to here, you'll feel tension stay on that bicep. And that's how we're going to curl up to the top, no forward elbow movement, shoulders nice and locked, chest up, all the way down to full negative. Let that stretch happen, but keeping that load and drive back up. What we're also avoiding is this nonsense. Yeah, we're not on a ski machine. We're not jacking off two massive guys from Pornhub. No. Keep it strict. If you're doing singularly, one arm comes to complete stop before the other goes. Yeah? None of this. That was a mistake. Oh, come on. Fuck your reps now, fuck your reps now. Same rules apply even when you're seated. Keep that angle on that dumbbell head. Nice and strict on the core, chest up, shoulders engaged but not doing any work and not shifting. Strict, strict, strict. Enjoy, and don't rip labels out your stringers. So this is a sneaky one using the cables, and this is one of my favorites for long heads. For those that don't know, I recently ripped my bicep off the bone. Got a cool scar to show for it that runs all the way up to here. This is a light variation that you can do on the cables, or you use a straight bar, and the ability to stand upright without swinging like an ape. Everybody knows the standard straight bar curl. We're going to take this variation. We're going to stick the elbows out and keep the arms at this angle. So imagine there's a pad underneath you. From this point, what we're going to do is curl up, keeping the elbows fixed, and squeeze. And it's this simple, but it's also really freaking light. Because to be able to maintain this stabilized position, you're going to have to keep those scapula engaged. You have to keep those shoulders in line. And you have to really focus on just squeezing and working with the bicep. This is going to fatigue really fast, but you're also going to feel it dial in just as quickly. You can put a little bit of counter body weight lean into it if you need to. But the important factor is that we keep those elbows nice and tight and that angle throughout the entire range of the motion. The main thing we're looking for on this is to get that internal rotation as we come up. So when we're holding the bar, we're thinking about pressing through this part of the palm here into the bar and squeezing up. So we're really gonna activate that bicep. If we allow that hand to tilt out like it wants to, you can see how it's taking away part of that contraction, especially on the outer head. So make sure that you're really driving up and in. Stop those elbows flaring. Boom, like grabbing a nice pair of udders. This is taking all the shoulders out, all the body weight out, and just complete and utter focus on that long head, which on my gimpy arm is already freaking hurting. So give this one a go. Forward angled, straight bar, cable curls. Oh, god damn it. Probably the most underused exercise in the gym is going to be the drag curl. Easy bar, and we're going to start it with a seated variation. This is perfect for me, especially coming back after injury, because this is going to keep the tendons of the biceps safe. The goal of the drag curl is to keep the bar as close to the body as possible, and what we're going to try and do is draw a line from our palm up into our armpit. The elbows need to be moving back, shoulders need to stay down, chest needs to stay up. But what we're looking for here is an explosive up. We're going to try and push that palm as far up into the armpit as we can. The higher you get it, the tighter that squeeze is going to be. And then we're just going to drag that bar back down the body. Seat, nice and upright, perfectly upright. From here, make sure you've got one nipple on display. And then we're going to curl up and drag it back down the body. Hits the danger zone and then back up. Boom. Obviously, I'm using a lighter weight here, so work with whatever weight is going to really get that squeeze, but also maintain the technique. What we don't want to do is allow those shoulders to track forward, shoulders to roll in or out. We want to maintain a focus on squeezing as hard as we can at the top, then fighting that eccentric, drag it down the body, and then explode. Boom. As long as we're keeping that chest up and those shoulders back, drawing that line from palm to armpit, this form's gonna be perfect. Don't worry about too much weight to start with. Focus on that squeeze. Focus on really that dragging it back down the body. Standing variation is gonna be absolutely no different. Let's keep a little bit of a wider grip. Bit of a wider grip, but keeping those elbows tucked in. Find if I go a little bit narrower on the easy kettle bar, it's a little bit harder to get that squeeze at the top. Whereas when I'm wider, I tend to be able to get that little bit higher. One little handy here is I squeeze your glutes a little bit. That's gonna stop your hips rocking. We're gonna keep that neck nice and relaxed. We're gonna draw that line from palm to armpit, drag it back down. You're gonna feel this working your scapula as well if they're lazy. Make sure that we're maintaining that body posture throughout the whole thing. As long as you maintain that body posture, it's gonna be perfect. Squeeze, fight that eccentric, and back up. Boom, letting those elbows track back as much as necessary. The harder you squeeze, the better the reps. Whew. Oh, goddamn. Even showing you that now, I'm getting a nasty pump. Give them a go. Drag curls, seated, standing, both great variations. Incline dumbbell curls. Now, don't just disappear off and think, no, I know what to do with this. Heard them all before, seen it, I do those. There's a number of things you should be doing that most people don't. And if you're not doing these, you're doing it wrong. So first things first, we want to make sure we're at that kind of 45-degree angle. Is that 40, about right? 45? No, yeah. Just want to make sure that the bench that we're using is not so wide that it's overly supporting the shoulders. Now I know that's going to be a bit limiting in some gyms, but do your best to get on the narrowest bench that you can. From here, what we're going to look to do is get a full extension on the biceps. Now this is actually the only movement where we can truly fully extend the bicep. This is because the upper insertion point of the bicep actually sits underneath the delt. By doing an incline bicep curl, what we're doing is we're aiming to roll those delts out and open up the shoulders, which in turn is going to allow the bicep to lengthen to its fullest extent. And this is where most people are going wrong. A lot of people just lie back, hang the weights low, and start curling. At this point, what we're actually doing is just mimicking a standard standing curl, seated curl, this curl. What we actually want to think about doing is rolling the shoulders back and squeezing and pinching the shoulder blades, a lot like when we're doing a bench press. So rolling the shoulders back, pinching those shoulder blades together. We're then going to lie back and let the arms sit down. You'll feel this pull already now on the front of your shoulder. This is actually really beneficial and really healthy for the shoulders. So if you've got bad shoulders, doing this movement is actually going to help them. What we're avoiding doing in this position is letting the chest sag, craning the head forward, and allowing those shoulders to pronate inward and just end up with this kind of horrible posture. One big error a lot of people do here is partial reps. You'll get to here where the tension starts to get hard, and then they keep it there and then come back up and through like this, leaving that bend in the elbow. You've got to get that full extension without allowing that shoulder to come forward. So we've pinched the shoulder blades together, we're rolling the shoulders out, we've got our chest high, we're going to pull our lower core in, keep it nice and tight, and plant our feet. From here, we're going to allow the full extension of the arm, and we're going to curl up. Well, what we're doing is twisting in again as we squeeze at the top. So what I'm not doing is just curling up from a weird kind of sideways angle. And we're not going to allow those elbows to shift. We're going to keep our shoulders back and rotated and squeezing those shoulder blades together the whole time. Now, if you do this, take the normal weight that you do on a dumbbell curl and halve it, because this little bad boy is a beast. Now, come on now, let's go. Fuck you reps, there we go. Park. Head up, love. So there you go, some tasty little treats for the biceps that you can immediately put into play, whether it's something that you haven't seen or those little tweaks that are going to go make the difference. Take it, let me know what you think. Let me know in the comment section what else you'd like to see, and if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to do so. Check out the latest video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Boom, baby.